This is one thing that's a key thing, is that as individuals, as men, you're going to have to be able to know how to lead as men. You know what I'm talking about? And look what he said here in 1 Corinthians 14 and about verse 20. Straight to the point. He say, brethren, be not children in understanding. You know what he's telling you not to be children? He say, be not a child in understanding. Because look at 1 Corinthians 13. Jump up to the next chapter up. Verse 11. Look what he tell you. He say, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. Which means you're going to be full grown and built up in the Lord. Because Luke 6:40 says the disciple is not above his master, and everyone that is perfect shall be as his master. There has to come a time where you get off breast milk. And there has to come a time where you have to be fully grown and be ready for strong meat. He's sitting here telling you, in the understanding of the Lord, he said, you don't need to be no child. He said, howbeit in malice be ye children, but in understanding be men. So you know what he means when he's telling you to be in malice, to be children. You know what I mean, to be malicious. He's saying maliciousness, you need to be children, but in understanding, you need to be a man. You need to show yourself a man. You know what I'm talking about? Being malicious meaning being simple. You know, children don't know no better. You know what I'm talking about? So he's saying, as a child, he say, be a baby in that. Don't fool with that. He said, but in understanding, you need to be a man, which means you know how to direct your affairs with discretion. Look at 1 Chronicles 28. See, this is a lot of hindrance for a lot of people. Because we got a woman on this line, and she could tell you, Nicole, would you want to deal with a weak-minded man? Don't no woman want no weak-minded man. I ask you, well, I want to say this here because like we said, dealing. But any man you ever dealt with, have you tried him to see if he would show himself a man or not? From that laugh, we'll take that as a yes. Because I told him earlier that every woman going to try a man to see if he a man or not.
I wasn't so.
And when you don't show yourself a man, that woman will try you on every cut and corner. 1 Chronicles 28. Let's see what it is. Look at verse 4. He said, howbeit, Yah, God of Israel, chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever. For he hath chosen Judah to be the ruler. And of the house of Judah, the house of my father, and among the sons of my father, he liked me to make me king over all Israel. And of all my sons, for Yah hath given me many sons, he hath chosen Solomon, my son, to sit upon the throne of the kingdom of Yah over Israel. And he said unto me, Solomon thy son, he shall build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. Now you also got to remember, this talking about the Lord. He said he done chosen Judah to be the ruler. We all know this here. This is talking about the Lord at the same time. He said, now listen what else he say. He say, now therefore in the sight of all, he say, well, moreover, I will establish his kingdom forever, if he be constant to do my commandments and my judgments as it is this day. Now therefore in the sight of all Israel, the congregation of Yah and the audience of our God, keep and seek the commandments of Yah your God, that you might possess this good land and leave it for an inheritance for your children after you forever. And thou, Solomon, my son, know thou the God of thy father, serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For Yah search all hearts, and understand all the imagination of the thoughts. And if thou seek him, and this was not what I was looking for, but it worked out nonetheless. If thou seek him, he will be found of thee. But if thou forsake him, he will cast thee off forever. Take heed now, for Yah have chosen thee to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it. See, this is the key thing that's here. If you're going to lead and be a man, he's sitting here telling me, I set you up to be a leader of the people. We're still working in the way we need to do it. So look at Genesis 3. Let's look at the law. He say, you need to take heed to what I tell you to do and do it. So when we go back to this woman, here in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, and I need to look up and see what that is, what I was looking for. You say, quit ye and be a man. I hate when that happens. I do. I'm saying, you can help me out, but you'll never help me out. Genesis 3 and 16. Yeah, let that be the reason. Unto 16. He say, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children. Thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So now you just seen how he just talked about Solomon ruling over the kingdom. You know what I'm talking about? And now he's sitting here saying that that the man will rule over his wife. And knowing that this is signifying the Lord and his wife. And so the same thing it is with Solomon. And he's sitting here telling Solomon, you need to keep the commandments and be strong and do it. So when you're looking for leading your wife or leading a woman, he telling you, you need to be strong and do it. You need to be strong and lead the household. And you notice what's the key thing he told him to lead the house by? What did he tell Solomon he needed to do to lead the house? Yeah, but what else did he tell him though? Before he told, what was David telling him he needed to do to possess the kingdom to rule over it? He told him to keep the commandments. How else you going to be able to lead the house if you're not keeping the commandments? Didn't he tell him that? Didn't he tell Adam that to obey and he disobeyed? He didn't lead the house. He hearkened to his wife. See, look what Job told him when his wife was talking stupid. We'll get to Ephesians 5 in a minute, but look what Job said when his wife went to talking stupid in Job 1. Let's see if Job showed himself a man when his wife went to talking reckless. Yeah, the reason why was he listened to his wife. He didn't have to listen to his wife. He said, I hearken. No, he didn't have to. He had a choice. No, man, he just followed after the Messiah, just followed that pattern. He died for his wife. He didn't have to do it, though. Job 1 and about verse 5. Hold on, let me see what that is. No, we'll drop down a little lower. Yeah, it might be in chapter 2. Yeah, it is in chapter 2. Job 2 and verse 4. Make it 3. It's saying, Yah said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feared God and eschew evil. Still he hold fast his integrity, although thou move me against him to destroy him without cause. So you see Job is standing on the word, and he ain't moving. He ain't moving. He is not moving. You know what I'm talking about? He is not moving whatsoever. Even though the Lord been moved against him, he ain't did nothing wrong. Job ain't moving. Look what else he say. And Satan answered Yah and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man have he will give for his life. Put forth thy hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. So now he's sitting there telling him, if you put it on his hand, he gonna curse you. Did they touch Yahshua in the flesh? He hoping Yahshua gonna curse him too. But he stirred fruit. Because remember, he said that Job was a perfect and upright man that eschewed evil. Wasn't Yahshua a perfect and upright man who eschewed evil? So he could be able to lead his wife in righteousness and be a man and direct her properly. Now let's look what else he say. He say, so went Satan forth from the presence of Yah and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thy integrity? Curse God and die. Now that's a wicked woman right there. That's a wicked woman right there. That's some wicked stuff say out your mouth. But let's see what Job told her. He said unto her, thou speakest one of the foolish women speak. Straightened her immediately, didn't he? You talking like a stupid woman. You sound real retarded. Look what he told her. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? And all this, Job did not sin with his lips. Job ain't get reckless out of his mouth and say, look here, woman, you talking crazy. You talking real crazy. You know what I'm talking about? He said, you sound like a foolish woman. He said, don't God, he give, he take away. He do good, he do evil. Nonetheless, woman, I'm not going to sin against God to make you feel better. Because you done lost faith in this man and you don't trust in it, I'm going to stand firm. See, as a man, if you're going to direct your household, you got to stand firm in the word. And you got to be able to straight. Did he disrespect him? Did he go off on him? He let her know, look here, woman, you talking stupid. Let's see if the Lord straightened the woman in that same type fashion for coming at him talking stupid. John the 4th chapter. Now, this ain't his wife. We actually heard a dude say, you meet your wife at the well. Yeah, look at John 4. See, a lot of men, the reason why houses is out of order, because niggas want to co-lead with their wife. You can't co-lead with your wife. Can it be co-leaders? You ever seen co-leaders before? It's always turbulence when you got two people leading, son. No, we ain't gonna use this here. Go to Genesis 35. This really don't fit what we was doing here. Genesis 35 and 1. The whole key thing of what you do and how you live, you need to stand up and show yourself a man. You need to lead the household. You need to direct it. Look at Genesis 35 and 1. Look what he told him right here. God said unto Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel, and dwell there, and make thee an altar unto God that appeared unto thee when thou fled from the face of Esau thy brother. Then Jacob said unto his household and to all that were with him, put away the strange gods that are among you, be clean and change your garments. Guess what Jacob just did? He just told everybody in his household. Didn't he say the man gonna rule over his wife and her desire gonna be to him? So that's what he just told his whole house to do. He just sat there and told them, all them idol gods you worshiping, you need to get that stuff out of there and be clean and change your clothes. Ain't the Lord came and told you the same thing ruling over his wife? Did he tell you to put them idols out your heart? Because to be stubborn is to be an idolater. You know what I'm talking about? The man came and told you he that does not willing to forsake mother, brothers, sisters, wives, children, houses. He said, you're not worthy of me to be my disciple. That man said, you need to change your clothes. You need to put off that flesh and you need to put off them filthy garments and put on some clean ones. So you have to look at that. You're going to have to be willing to lead your household and look your wife in the face and say, look here, woman, get them idol gods out of my house and change your clothes and be clean. Stand up and be a man and direct your household. When you look at Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they didn't let their wives tell them what to do. There's nothing worse in this life than to see a man being ran by his woman. That don't mean you hearken to wise counsel. Then we read last week when Sarah gave Abraham wise counsel. And he hearkened to that wise counsel. That don't mean you don't be no fool, but at the same time, you supposed to be wearing pants, man. Your woman ain't supposed to be wearing pants literally nor figuratively. And if you don't stand up to be a man in your own household, how do you expect your wife to respect you? Jacob ain't say, okay, baby, I really want you to change your clothes and get. He told everybody, servants and all, kids and all. You got to say to these people, look here, man, it's your job to run the house. He set the man at the head of the whole thing. Look at 1 Corinthians 11. That's why as a woman, it don't make no sense to follow a man who ain't following God. That's just stupid. First Corinthians 11 and 1. See, we just referenced this earlier. He said, be ye followers of me, even as I also am of the Messiah. Now I praise you, brethren, that you remember in all things and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. Now he said delivering ordinances. Where would you find the ordinances at? In the law. In the law. We just read one of the ordinances. Didn't he say the man will rule over his wife? He said, I'm delivering you the ordinance. Now this is why he come and tell him. I would have you know that the head of every man is the Messiah. And the head of the woman is the man. And the head of the Messiah is God. And we referenced Numbers 27 earlier when he says, set a man over the body, over the congregation. Meaning that man is that means the Messiah is the head of his wife. And you're supposed to be the head of your wife. Now let's look at Ephesians 5. That means you need to know how to direct things. You need to know how to direct your house. How you going to sit there and you married to a woman and she going to tell you it's Passover and you can't have leaving bread in the house and she say, I'm going to have my leaving in here. Well, guess what? You can be leaving out the front door. You can't live here. Ephesians 5 and 22. You can't live here. Literally out the front door. You got to go. Say, wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as the Messiah is the head of the church and is the Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto the Messiah, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. That means, man, you got to be able to stand up and be able to lead the house. Because the book is telling this woman she need to be subject to her husband as the assembly is subject to her husband. That means you're going to be able to, did the Lord compromise and bend his word for any time for his wife? Did he do that? Or did not we just read how this man said, if you don't repent, you're going to go to hell too? Or did he not tell these people, believe the gospel and repent, that you might be saved? That means, look here, man, what I tell you to do, woman, you need to follow that. Because the man told you the things that I speak for your profit. I speak things that are right. You know what I'm talking about? So if you the lead of the household and you lead now, you're supposed to be directing the house in righteousness and in truth and in spirit by way of the Messiah. Because the man said the Messiah your head. And we just dealt with following him. And if you following him, you walking in holiness. You walking in codestness. And if you walking in that, that means you walking in a perfect way. Why wouldn't your woman want to hearken to that? You got to be able to man up and be able to not be dealing with their woman's feelings. See, look at Isaiah 58:1. See, a lot of times the reason why y'all can't man up because you worry about what she gonna say about her getting mad. She can get mad all she wants. If you telling her to if you telling her to go by what the book say and she don't want to do that, who she really mad with? Isaiah 58:1. He said, cry aloud and spare not. Lift up thy voice like a trumpet. Show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins. Now this ain't got nothing to do about standing in your house talking about, talking about screaming and hollering at your wife. Ain't nobody telling you to do that. But you got to let this woman know. That man say don't spare. That's the whole key point what we came there for. He said don't spare. He said don't spare. You know what that mean, not to spare? That mean don't spare no feelings. Nobody don't care about your feelings getting hurt. Nobody don't care because you didn't like that or you didn't agree with that. Because when you look at them righteous women, they submitted unto the direction of the household. But see, let's look at that something now. Look at 1 Peter 3. Because there's something else you got to know now. See, a lot of y'all single and you ain't never been married before. But if you're going to be courting a woman or you're going to be dealing with a woman, that woman needs to know that you're a man. And that you're going to stand on your word and what you say, that's what you mean. You think Jacob was playing when he told them, we're going to go back and read. You think Jacob was playing when he told them people get them gods out of them? Y'all think he was playing? Look, he said here in 1 Peter 3rd chapter and about the 6th verse. Make it verse 4. Now he's speaking to the women. Now we just had this conversation with a man. He's sitting there telling them, oh man, that was talk about flashy women. When he told these women, don't plait your hair and don't you wear no gold. He said, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is inside of God of great pride. So you need to look at that. You got a woman that ain't humble and like to run her mouth. You tell her to do something, all she want to do is whap, 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 and you trying to direct her and right it. She don't want to listen. You a fool to mess with that. You're not going to tame that woman. That man say, I need a woman who got a quiet and humble spirit. God say, that's a great price for me. He said, that be your ornament. Why don't you adorn yourself with that? Instead of worrying about adorning yourself with some fat earrings and a necklace and some bangles, you know what I'm talking about, and some bracelets and some rings and some ankle bracelets, why don't you adorn yourself with a quiet and meek spirit? I can buy that. But look what else he say with the men though. He say, for after this manner in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subjection unto their own husband. It's tying right back into the how with that Lord with that church. He said the holy women before time, they obeyed their husbands. They knew what type of man they had. When Jacob told Leah and Rachel, man, get them strange gods up out of here, man, be clean and change your clothes. They didn't say, I don't want to do that. No, they know I got a man of God. I'm going to hearken to what he say. And they knew full well Jacob meant what he said, didn't he? When he told Laban, man, let me get my wife, my day fulfilled. You know what I'm talking about? Let me get that, man. He said, my righteousness is going to prove me out. But that's another story for another time. He said, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as you do well and are not afraid with any amazement. Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. I mean, you need to dwell with them according to the word. You need to know how to treat your wife. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of dudes, they don't know how to treat their wife. They feel like a lot of Hebrew dudes find out that woman got to listen to him, and they go buck wild with it. You know what I'm talking about? He said, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. He said, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. He said, you need to give honor to your wife, that y'all can inherit this together. You know what I'm talking about? See, now this talking about two people that's saved, two people that's walking according to the word. He said that your prayers don't be held up. You know what I'm talking about? That your prayers don't be held up. You need to know how to dwell and honor your wife properly, looking at how the Lord honored his wife. Let's go back to Ephesians 5. We get back to Genesis 35 in a minute. Well, you look like you ready to doze right now. Back to Ephesians 5, then we'll get to Genesis 35 in a minute. That's why he told you a bishop got to be able to rule his house. He said, because if you can't direct your house, how can you direct the house of God? You got to be able to have that. If your wife ain't gonna listen to you, ain't no fool well, you ain't gonna get no congregation to listen to you. Look what he said here in verse 25 in Ephesians 5. He said, husbands, love your wives, even as the Messiah also loved the church and gave himself for it. If you don't look at a woman and you willing to lay your life down for her, because the man said, greater love have no man than this, that a man lay his life down for his friends. The scriptures tell you that the Messiah would be cut off, but not for himself. Then you got to be willing to give your life for your wife and to dwell with her accordingly. Because the scriptures say you would provide for your wife. You would build a house for your wife. You know what I'm talking about? You wouldn't put your wife before anything other than the Lord. The Lord will come before your wife in any other matter. Other than that, you're not going to put nobody before your wife. Drop down about verse 28, I should say. He says, so men ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He that love his wife, love himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourished and cherished it, even as the Lord the church. Now see, this is very important. You see how this man say, ain't no man hate his own flesh? If you got a man who's going to beat his wife, who's going to lie to his wife, who's going to cheat on his wife, who's going to disrespect his wife, who's going to abuse his wife, whether emotionally, do all these things, that man don't love himself. That man hate himself. Because the man said, you don't hate your flesh when you do that. You just because you know that you got to be a man and stand firm on the convictions of the word, don't give you license to disrespect your wife. He said you need to be able to know how to cherish your wife and honor your wife. Because this is dealing with what you was mentioning earlier. You got to be able to balance being nourishing your wife and honoring your wife to being so simple where you worry about, well, why you upset? Why you angry? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Nigga, just do what I told you to do. You know what I'm talking about? I'm asking you, but also you got to look at it this here. If your wife don't want to listen to you, what you got to look at yourself is it things that I'm doing that's not right with the Lord, that why he ain't put it in this woman's heart to listen to me? You know what I'm talking about? It's you doing what you supposed to be doing. But if you asking this woman to do something simple, hey woman, the book say you supposed to keep the house. Keep your house, man. You know what I'm talking about? Good grief. I shouldn't have to tell you to do this. You shouldn't have to be told, woman, to cook something to eat. You shouldn't have to be told to wash dishes. You shouldn't have to be told to wash clothes, knowing that that's your house and that's part of your salvation. That man shouldn't have to tell you that. You look at if your husband tell you something and you don't agree with it, guess what? Guess what you got to do? You got to suck that up, and you got to be man enough to when you say that and that's what you mean, to be firm on that. You're not gonna move. Because guess what? You know what sharks do when they smell blood? Guess what a woman gonna do when she smell weakness? She gonna attack. You got to be firm. You can't be moved. All right, go back to Genesis 35. See, a lot of times we've been taught that you got to cater to a woman and do this here. Ain't nobody telling you don't love your wife. Hey, man, if you know your wife like certain types of shoes and outfits, you know what I'm talking about? Cop that for her. You know what I'm talking about? You know you like to go out to eat, man. Don't be scared to take your wife out to eat. You know what I'm talking about? You know you like to wear cologne. Get her some perfume, too.
You ain't got to be all material nigga rubber feet, man.
I'm just saying, period, though. But look here, you can say that about being material, but like I said, nigga, you know you want to go out here and get you a plate of chilies. You ain't going to bring, you got niggas who will go out to eat, don't bring their wife back none to eat.
Yeah, I got to cook at the crib. Man.
Okay, all right, that's all. Everybody don't go cook at the crib, though. Some people like to go down sometimes, let somebody cook for them, and let's sit down and chew.
Niggas ain't got nothing like that. Nigga rubber feet, man.
You know what I'm talking about?
You want to show affection rubber feet.
You talking about showing affection? Look at, man. Look at, we ain't talking about that.
Nigga,
but you got to look at
it.
Look at, though. Your wife pregnant, though. But see, with your wife pregnant. But guess what, though? That's even more so when she pregnant.
I didn't get her materials. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't saying all that about no material. I'm just saying, nigga, if you don't go around here.
Don't just say the material.
I ain't just saying the material, but just don't be sliding out here talking about, hey man, I want to cop me a new fit. Don't get your wife, but your wife might want a new fit.
Mm-hmm. I can dig it.
You want to wear, you want to smell fresh. Your wife might want to smell fresh. Mm-hmm. You go get a haircut. Your wife might want to get her hair done. I mean, come on, man. You got niggas who do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed.
You know what I'm talking about?
Still rubbing feet, man. Get them ankles.
You know what I'm talking about? But it's even more so. You got niggas, they wife pregnant, they don't even want to help the woman out. I done heard women like this. How you gonna like to see if you see this woman pregnant, she laboring around, moving around, you don't even give her no assistance. And you say you love her. Like, I've seen that. These people weren't married, though. You know what I'm talking about? But they were shacked up in the house playing like they were married. You know what I'm talking about? Look at verse 3 in Genesis 35. Now, after he told them to get all that stuff from among them, listen what he said. He said, let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I'll make there an altar unto God who answered me in the day of my distress, and he was with me in the way which I went. And they gave unto Jacob all the strange gods which were in their hand, and all their earrings which were in their ears, and Jacob hid them under the oak, which was by Sittim. And they journeyed, and the terror of God was upon the cities around about them. They did not pursue after the sons of Jacob. You see what happened right here? These people were scared. You know what I'm talking about? Because he seen what he said when he told his people to do that, and his people got all them false gods with him. God was with them. Don't you know if you can direct yourself in righteousness and direct your house in righteousness, God gonna be with you. You can't be no coward now. Because he said no effeminate man ain't getting in. You can't be no coward. You got to man up, lead your house. You got to show that woman off the rip. Ain't nothing wrong with making sure you and your wife is on one accord and in tune, but at the same time, don't be no chump now. Don't be no simp. Y'all know what a simp is, don't you? No. Any of y'all know what a simp is? Y'all know what that is? Yeah, no, that's what, Drew said it, simple-minded. But Nicole just told you, simp is old sucker for love nigga. A nigga who will let a woman rule over him in hopes that that woman will be with him or he can get some type of physical gratification from this woman. And he will allow this woman to disrespect him and run over him in every shape, form, or fashion possible. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? And won't stand up and be no man. Don't be no simp. You got to be a man. Look here, I done looked pretty women in the face and told them, you ain't that pretty. And you ain't that fine. I don't want to have sex with you that bad. For me to compromise what I stand for. Because what I stand for, it's like they say, y'all hear it all the time. Niggas say, all I got is my testicles and my word. And I can't break them for nobody. I can't go against what I say I stand for to please no woman. Now you see, Jacob ain't go against God's word to please his wife. He told everybody, not just his wives now, children, his servants, everybody in the house. You think ain't the Lord did the same thing? Because I talk about the Lord. He said, get them idols from among you and change your clothes and get clean. So you got to be able to look everybody in your household and say, change your clothes and get clean. And some of y'all stay with your parents, so it's obviously you can't look in your parents and look them in the face and tell them that. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know what they're going to tell you? You know what they're going to tell you? Nigga, get out, get your own house. You know what I'm talking about? But you have to sit there and look at that. If you staying with people in Passover coming around and you know you can't have no leaving bread in the house, what you going to do? You going to stick around with these people? You going to have your wife cause you to sin? You going to have you tell your wife we don't celebrate Christmas, she bring it in here? You going to let her cause you to sin? You know what I'm talking about?
I'm saying that for those who live with their parents, is that still the same thing? Because that's their house, really. You know
that's their house, but it's looking at it. You have to look at it in this house up. I know I can't be around this where I dwell. Because he didn't say if you dwell at your parents' house. He said you can't have this in your dwellings. So you have to look at this here. Is it good for me to stay here? These people causing me to sin. I got to go. You know what I'm talking about? I must depart. I must leave. But this is dealing with you're going to be a man, be a man. Because we looking at Adam. Adam hearkened to it. We could go and look at Ahab. Look at 1 Kings 20. See, let's go look at Ahab. See, Ahab ain't stand up and wasn't no man. See, if you're going to be a man, stand up and be a man. You know what I'm talking about? Don't be no chump. Yeah, don't be no chump. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of dudes don't like me because they know I'm not going to budge. I'm not going to be moved. 1 Kings 20. Or is it that 2 Kings 8:19? I'm sorry. 1 Kings 18 is actually where we need to go at. It sounds like everybody muted their mics at the same time. It might be further back than that. And they sat there and they lied on that man. Let me see what it says. Let's see what about this man. With Jezebel. Everybody done heard of Jezebel. Jezebel wasn't no Israelite, y'all. She was an old strange woman. He was married to an old strange woman. I this with a verse. I always look at this stuff and then forget where it be. I mean, right now I'm looking at Ahab. I'm looking at Ahab's name, but I want something specific. Cause she wanted to kill him. Ahab had done did something real sour though. There it is, chapter 21. 1 Kings 21. See, this is an example of a man not being a man and standing up to his wife. It said it came to pass after these things that Naboth the Jezreelite had a vineyard, which is in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. And Ahab spoke unto Naboth, saying, Give me of thy vineyard, that I might give it, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house. And I will give thee for it a better vineyard than it. Or, if it seem good to thee, I will give thee the worth of it in money. Now, this is the reason why it's in the law. A man cannot take another man's inheritance. This is why you see in the king offering them to swap out vineyards or to pay him for it. Because king or no king, you can't take a man's inheritance. What's his is his. You hear me? Look what he say. He said, Naboth said to Ahab, Yah forbidden me that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto thee. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he said, I will not give thee inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down upon his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. But Jezebel his wife came to him and said unto him, Why is thy spirit so sad that thou eat no bread? And he said unto her, Because I spake unto Naboth the Jezreelite. And he said unto him, Give me thy vineyard for money, or else, if it please thee, I will give thee another vineyard for it. And he answered, I will not give thee my vineyard. Jezebel his wife said unto him, Dost thou now govern the kingdom of Israel? Arise and eat bread, and let thy heart be merry. I will give thee the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Now we know Deuteronomy 17 say what the king's supposed to keep, right?
Yeah.
Now in Deuteronomy 17, the book say, the law say the king is supposed to keep the book of the law. That's why Ahab was sad. Ahab knew he couldn't take this man's vineyard, didn't he?
Yeah, that what I just said?
Yeah, I know it. I'm just repeating that for them. They didn't know it.
No, when I said it, you said no.
Oh, no. I'm talking about. We're going to read how she going to get it to him.
My head off, because you said no. Then you start.
Oh, no. We're going to read how he gave it to him. But guess what, though? She heard what this first thing this wicked woman said out of her mouth. Aren't you governor over Israel? So you feel like how most kings or people feel. I can just take it. Ahab was sad because he knew he couldn't take that. He knew what the law said. Let's look what happened. Verse 8. So she wrote letters in Ahab's name and sealed them. And with his seal, and sent letters unto the elders and to the nobles that were in the city dwelling with Naboth. And she wrote in the letters, Proclaim a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. And set 2 men, sons of Belial, before him to bear witness against him, saying, Thou did blaspheme God and the king. Then carry him out and stone him, that he may die. And the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were inhabitants in his city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them. And it was written in the letters which he had sent unto them. They proclaimed a fast, and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came in 2 men, children of Belial, and sat before him. And the men of Belial witnessed against him, even against Naboth in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme God and the king. Then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones. Did he die? This sound familiar to y'all in any place?
What?
That sounds familiar with. What that sound like to you, Dwight? No, that ain't what it is. That's what they did to the Lord. They didn't proclaim a fast. But you know what I'm talking about? But they came and got the man, and they bare witness on him because he did not want to give them their vineyard, which was his inheritance. So wicked men set things up together to take him out. So they killed him because they said, what more when he said, Thou shalt see the Son of God coming in clouds of heaven? They say, what more? He blasphemed right then. You didn't hear the Lord in that. They did the same thing to the Lord. Brought false witnesses in, sons of the devil. The lie on the man. And then they took him out there and killed him because he didn't want to give him theirs inheritance. He said, I can't get, because the scribes and Pharisees say, we got to get him out of here lest we lose our place in our nation. They wanted to take this man's inheritance. He wouldn't give it to him. So they said, we got to kill him and take it by force. You see how the whole book by the Lord? Thank the Lord. See, I seen Dwight called it. He was over there grinning like somebody had put a bowl of beans and rice in his face. Yeah, I said it. You don't like beans and rice?
Yeah, all right.
Oh, it's all right now. It's all right. I like beans and rice. I thoroughly enjoy beans and rice. I prefer brown rice. Maybe even wild rice. I don't do white rice. Though. Listen what he said. And then they carried Yahshua out for the city and killed him. He wasn't killed inside the city, was he? He said, and they sent unto Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And it came to pass when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said to Ahab, Arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give thee for money, for Naboth is not alive, but dead. And it came to pass when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, Ahab arose to go down of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. He knew right then what was he supposed to do. He's supposed to turn He's supposed to turn around and kill her.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? He's supposed to nut down. Hold up, woman. Hold up, woman. How did this happen? He didn't ask no questions. He just went and got it. Straight chump. Straight chump. You know the man said you couldn't get it. Now he dead, and then click in your mind to ask you why is he dead? Look what happened to him. And the word of Yah came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, Arise, go down to meet Ahab, king of Israel, which is in Samaria. Behold, he is in the vineyard of Naboth, whither he is gone down to possess it. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith Yah, hast thou killed and also take possession? Thou shalt speak unto him, saying, Thus saith Yah, in the place where the dogs lick the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine. And Ahab said to Elijah, Hast thou found me, O my enemy? And he answered, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself to work evil in the sight of Yah. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee, and I will take away thy posterity, and I will cut them off from Ahab, him that piss against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel. What this man just told him just now? He say everybody that piss against the wall. I'm going to kill when he say cut off their posterity, I'm going to knock off your entire line. There will be no longer any descendants of the house of Ahab to live under heaven. I'm going to knock off your whole family. Not going to leave you no sons. A woman can't keep her family line going. That's why you think men want sons. When a man have a whole bunch of daughters, they be sad because if he got a whole bunch of daughters, the line can't keep going. It stopped with him if he ain't got no brothers. That's why men want sons. Sons keep the line going. This man said, I'm going to kill them all. I'm going to kill them all. This is what else he said. And will make thy house like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahiah, for the provocation where thou hast provoked me to anger to make and made Israel to sin. And Jezebel also spake Yah, saying, the dogs shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Him that die of Ahab in the city the dogs shall eat, and him that die in the field shall the fowls of the air eat. But there was none like unto Ahab. You hear what he said? There was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of Yah, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. Because his wife was an idolater. Not only did he did this wicked act following her with Naboth, he stirred up the worship false God. Excuse me. Because as a matter of fact, she was killing the prophets of Yah. Go over here to 1 Kings about 18. We'll see something else with 1 Kings and 18. 18 and 1. Yeah, 1 Kings 18 and 1. Oh, man. That was a rough one right there, buddy.
You sickly nigga?
No, I just had to sneeze, man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sneeze sometimes? Good grief. He said, it came to pass after many days that the word of Yah came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go show thyself unto Ahab, and I will send rain upon the earth. And Elijah went to show himself unto Ahab, and there was a sore famine in Samaria. And Ahab called Obadiah, which was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared Yah greatly. For it was so, when Jezebel cut off the prophets of Yah, that Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them 50 by 50 in a cave, and fed them with bread and water. Not only did this woman work that work, but she got the people. She done convinced this man to worship idols. She done convinced this man to slew the prophets of God. Does that sound like a man who's standing firm in his house? And for him not standing firm in his house by standing according to God's word, he didn't gird himself up and show himself a man. She got the whole house cut off. Following behind his wife, got the whole house cut off. So as a man, you got to stand on God's word, and you can't be having worry about if your wife gonna get mad. She just gonna have to be mad. That's what's wrong with a lot of dudes. They don't want to stand tall and be no man. You got to stand tall and be a man. That thing of following behind your wife, doing mess up everything when you could have just stood tall and be a man. That's the whole key thing of what he's telling you. Stand tall and be a man. Stand firm and be a man. Don't be no chump. The man told Solomon, rule over the whole house. I set you over my wife now. Keep the commandments of God and direct my wife. And direct my wife. That's what the king's supposed to do. You're standing over this man to watch over his wife. So you got to sit back and you following the same similitude in the pattern in the household. Stand firm over your house and direct your wife. She don't want to obey by the word of God. Guess what happened? You can leave. It's not a big deal. You can depart. There's a side door for you. We'll get rid of you. You know what I'm talking about? That's the same thing what happened with Queen Vashti. When Xerxes said, come here to me, woman, she didn't want to come. They say, hold up, man. You got to do something about that. Because if you don't do that, all the women in the kingdom going to think they can disrespect their husband. They put a decree. Every woman, small or great, free or bond, no matter the case may be, you better listen to your husband. Or it might cost you your life. See, a lot of women don't realize you don't want to listen to your husband. You don't want to obey and follow this man. You don't want to have this man rule over you. It might cost you your soul. You know what I'm talking about? It might cost you your soul. And if you know, and truth be told, I asked a woman this one time. She told me, I'll never submit to a man. I said, well, I guess you can get ready to go to hell then. How I can go to hell for not submitting to a man? Because if you won't submit to a man who you see, is not the Lord a man? Is not his father in heaven a man? Because hence if he's a father, what would that make him? That would make him a man, wouldn't it? So if you won't hearken to a man whom you've seen, you surely not going to hearken to a man whom you have not seen. And if you know you don't have it in your heart to hearken to no man, this book is not for you. And then on the flip side, if you saying you want to be a man of God, you got to be able to know how to direct your wife. How you going to sit here and say you want a wife and you ain't even prepared to lead? No, if you leave, not while that person is living. Well, then you got a decision you got to make. Is this woman pleased to dwell with you? If she don't want to follow God's word and you saying this is how we got to roll? Is she really pleased to dwell with? I mean, you can stay there. The book, Paul say, I'm speaking my opinion. You can stay there if you so choose. But I can't see how you want to stay with somebody who constantly not doing what you telling them to do. And you saying we follow the book. And you claim you believe in it, man, and you love him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean that's just a hard thing to do. You can stay there, but it'd make it hard. I mean, if I tell a woman, hey, woman, man, we don't mess around with no pork chops, and you consistently and constantly bring them into my home. How is this going to work? How is this going to work? How is this going to? I mean, what do you do? Look at 1 Corinthians 7. I tell you what, Paul tell you what to do. This is what Paul say to do. Look at 1 Corinthians 7. Verse 9. First Corinthians 7 and 9. It says, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. If you feel like you don't have no control over your loins, it's better for you to go and get a wife than for you to go to hell. Because he told you to avoid fornication. You need to get your wife, and a woman need to get her husband if they feel like they need to do that. Matter of fact, you can look at verse 3, and that goes back to what I was telling y'all earlier. Listen what he said. He said, let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. Y'all know what that means? You know what that means, Nicole? 1 Corinthians 7 and 3. It says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. You know what that means? You know what that means, Lord? That means when you married, look here, woman, when that man want him something, give him what he want. And same thing with the wife. Say, well, if the biscuit say, let the wife say, look here, man, we need to hit that room. You need to handle that. That's what he's telling you. Look what else he say. The wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband have not power over his own body, but the wife. And look what else he say. Defraud you not one the other. That man said, don't be around here playing games. I'm sick. I don't want to do it. I'm tired. My head hurt. You know what I'm talking about? Man say don't defraud your husband and don't defraud your wife. Look why he tell you to do it. He said except to be with consent for a time. He said except y'all done agreed on it. He said that you might give yourselves to fasting and prayer and come together again, that Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. So you see what it's telling you? See, when you around here telling your wife you ain't going to give her none, and you telling your husband he ain't going to give you this, that, that, and the other, you allow Satan to be able to get in there. To tempt you, to try you, the way you might be drawn away and sleep with another woman or sleep with another man. Ain't no way in there with this. Now guess what the book just told you? The book say you married. Look here, man. That woman want that. Give her what she want. Then that man want that. Give him some. Then he won't go looking for something nowhere else. He said, "Don't defraud your wife." And these niggas telling you you can't have sex unless you trying to get married. This man just tell you, man, don't defraud your wife now. Don't defraud your husband now. Niggas just dumb. You know what I'm talking about? Drop that down to verse 10. He say, "No, I wouldn't do it. I mean, we can hold out for 24 hours. It ain't that serious. You're talking about we got 6 days we can get freaky. You can hold off for 1 day." Truth be told, most of these niggas ain't getting that freaky anyway. I ain't gonna say all. Some of these niggas, I say most of these niggas ain't that freaky no way. Talking about they gonna be like, they seem like some of them, male or female, like they said, you ain't wanna hunt now the day out the week. You wanna wait till the Sabbath. Now you wanna hunt. We could have did it every day this week. Now you wanna wait till the day of rest. You wanna do some hunting. Nigga, sit down and chill out. And it said, unto the married I command, yet not I. Look what he say now. Verse 10. Look at what he say. He say, he say, unto the married I command. Say 1 Corinthians 7 and 10. He say, unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. We read that in Mark 10. Well, we didn't read it today. Mark 10, he say, if any man depart from his wife and marry another, he be an adulterer. And if the woman put away her husband and marry another, she's an adulteress. Because he said in Malachi, he hate putting away. That man just said he didn't command it. He said the Lord commanded, don't depart from your wife now. And he said, there's a lot of people going to hell. A lot of them know it, they just don't care. A lot of them know it, they just don't care. Don't think the Lord ain't had. Look at. Guess what though? Don't think the Lord ain't never had nobody send them through and mention this scripture as a testimony against them. Don't think they ain't never heard it. Yeah, they know that too. They know everything except what they ain't supposed to do. When it comes down what they ain't supposed to do, we don't want to talk about that. We free from that. We free from the law. This right here in the New Testament telling them you going to hell for it. Look what he say in verse 11. He say, but, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. You heard what he said? But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried, or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. It's her husband. That's it. And that tied back to the Lord. When the Lord put away Israel, did he go marry another woman? Did he go marry another people? When he put us out the land, he did not go marry another people. Didn't do that. Look what else he say. And if the woman which have a husband that believe not. See, now this is talking about a woman who's saved and her husband ain't saved. And if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean. It's still in 1 Corinthians 7. We ain't went nowhere. That's verse 14. I ain't jump a verse. He say, but now are they holy. He say, but if the unbelieving depart, let him depart. a brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God have called us to peace. Now, see, a lot of Israelites will take that and saying, see, you can marry somebody. No, he say, if that nigga leave, let him leave. You know what I'm talking about? He said, you ain't called. They didn't tell you can go get you another wife. They didn't say you could get another husband. Is that what he said? Because he already told you can't do. So look here. If you ain't married right now, and you don't need to be worried about it. Because you don't want to mess around and get married to the wrong thing and be stuck. You got to make sure that who you marrying, that they bout this life, if this the life you say you about. Got to make sure now. Because once you get married to him, you done. You know what I'm talking about? And especially if you like to hunt, you better make sure, hey man, better make sure she with it. Because you can't get none now if they deport. And you got to be man enough to lead your house. But we'll deal with this some more this at another time. That makes sense to y'all to show them examples of how you got to be a man to lead the house. You got to be able to be a man. You got